channel mapping and frame structures. In that we have studied the frame structure 1. So can anyone tell what are the downlink physical channels we have discussed yesterday? There are some different 6 downlink physical channels. Can anyone tell? Rajat Kumar? Sucheta? Shoaib? So the downlink physical channels are PDCCH, PDSCH, PBCH, PMCH, PHICH, and PCFICH. So these are the downlink physical channels which we have discussed yesterday. So we have discussed the uplink physical channels also. That is PUCCH and PUSCH and PRACH. So can anyone tell LTE supports 2 kinds of frame structures? Can you name the 2 types, 2 modes? That is type 1 will work in one mode and type 2 will work in other mode. Can you tell that 2 modes? Anyone? So one is the FDD mode and the other one is the TDD mode. So here today we are going to study the frame structure type 2. So here frame structure type 2 is applicable to the TDD mode. So here it is designed for the coexistence with the legacy system such as 3GPP, TD-SD, SCDMA based standard. So here each radio frame consists of so here each radio frame of frame structure type 2 is of length TF is equal to 30720 and TS is 10 milliseconds. So which consists of 2 half frames of length 5 milliseconds each. So here each half frame is divided into 5 subframes with 1 milliseconds duration. So here there are special subframes which consists of 3 fields. That is DWPTS, that is a downlink pilot time slot, grad period, that is GP, and uplink pilot time slot, that is UPPTS. So these fields are already defined in TDSC, TDSDMA and are maintained in the LTE TDD mode to provide the sufficiently large grad periods for the equipment to switch between the transmission and the reception. So here the downlink pilot time slot, that is TWPTS field. So this is the downlink part of the special subframe. So this is the downlink part of the special subframe. You can look at this. This is the downlink part of the special subframe and can be regarded as an ordinary but shorter downlink subframe for downlink data transmission. So everyone make a note of this frame structure type 2. So here the length of TWPTS can be varied from 3 up to 12 YFDMA symbols. It can vary from 3 up to the 12 YFDMA symbols. So here UPPTS, this is the uplink part of the special subframe. So and has a short duration with 1 or 2 YFDMA symbols. So it has a short duration with 1 or 2 YFDMA symbols. So here it can be used for transmission of uplink sounding reference signal and random access preambles. So it is UPPTS is used for the transmission of uplink sounding reference signals and random access preambles. So here GP is the guard period. So here the remaining symbols in the special subframe that have not been allocated to the TWPTS and UPPTS are allocated to the GP field. So which are not allocated to these two are going to allocate to the GP field. So here which are used to provide the guard period for the downlink to uplink and uplink to the downlink switch. So here the total length of these special fields as a constant of 1 milliseconds time duration. So here with TWPTS and UPPTS duration mentioned here, the LTE supports a guard period ranging from 2 or 10 YFDMA symbols. So it supports LTE supports a guard period ranging from 2 to 10 OFDMA symbols. So here the sufficient for cell size is up to the behind of 100 kilometer. So here all the subframes are defined as two slots, each with length that is T slot is equal to. So here each subframe is divided into two subframes, that is two slots, each with length of T slot is equal to 0.5 milliseconds. It is clear. So here this figure only shows the detailed structure of first half frame. So here the second half frame has been the similar structure. So here which depends on the uplink downlink configuration. So here 7 uplink downlink configurations with either 5 milliseconds or 10 milliseconds downlink to uplink switch. Downlink to uplink switch point periodicity are supported. So here the special frame exists in both the frames. So and the structure of the second half frame is same as the first frame. So this is about the frame structure type 2. Next we have physical resource blocks of FDME. Everyone copied this frame structure. Please make a note of that. Both the frame structures are very important. So next we have physical resource blocks of OFDMA. So here the physical resource in the downlink in each slot is described by a time frequency grid called as a resource grid. So here such a time frequency plane representation is a common practice of our OFDMA systems. So which will makes it intuitive for radio resource allocation. So here each column and each row of the resource grid corresponds to the one OFDMA symbol. So here we can look at this. So here this is the resource grid. So each column and each row of the resource grid corresponds to one OFDMA symbol and one OFDMA subcarrier respectively. So the duration of the resource grid in the time domain corresponds to the one slot in the radio frame. So the duration of the resource grid in the time domain corresponds to the one slot in the radio frame. So here the smallest time frequency unit in a resource grid is denoted as the resource element. So this is the resource element. So the smallest time frequency unit in a resource grid is denoted as the resource element. So here each resource grid consists of a number of resource blocks. So each resource grid consists of a number of resource blocks which describe the mapping of certain physical channels to the resource elements. So this is the structure of the downlink resource grid. So in that the details of these resource units are described as follows. The first one is the resource grid. So here the structure of each resource grid is characterized by the following three parameters. This first one is the number of downlink resource blocks. So this is the number of downlink resource blocks. And the second one is the number of subcarriers. So these are the number of subcarriers in each resource block. And the last one is the number of OFDMA symbols. So the number of OFDMA symbols in each block. So here the number of downlink resource blocks. Make a note of that figure. So here the number of downlink resource blocks is denoted as capital N RB to DL. So it depends on the transmission bandwidth and shall fulfill. So it depends on the transmission bandwidth and shall fulfill, that is NRB minimum of DL less than or equal to, so NRB, so this is DL, so which is where NRB is less than or equal to N into RB max comma DL. So where NDB minimum comma DL is equal to 6, and NRB maximum comma DL is equal to 110, or for the smallest and largest downlink channel bandwidth respectively. So here the value of NRBDL for several current specification bandwidths are current specific bandwidths. So next we have the number of subcarriers in each resource block. So which is represented as NSC RP. So it depends on the subcarrier spacing, that is delta F, satisfying NSC dB, that is RB. Delta F is equal to 180 kilohertz. So that is each resource block of 180 kilohertz wide in the frequency domain. So here the value of NSCRB for the different subcarrier spacing are used. So there are the total of NRBDL into NSCRB subcarriers in the resource grid. So here for the downlink transmission, the DC subcarrier is not used as it may be subject to the high level of interference. So here the DC subcarrier in the downlink transmission, so the DC subcarriers subcarrier is not used as may be subject to high level interference. So next we have is the number of OFDM symbols in each block. So that is represented as N symbol DL. So it depends on both the CP length and subcarrier spacing. So here it will depends on both the CP length and subcarrier spacing. So here for example with 10 megahertz bandwidth, so where delta F is 15 kilohertz and normal CP, so we get NRBDL is equal to 50, and NRBSE is 12, and N symbol DL is 7. So there are 50. So there are 50 into 12 into 7, that is 4200 resource elements in the downlink resource grid. So here in the case of multi-antenna transmission, there is one resource grid defined per antenna port. So here in the case of multi-antenna transmission, there is one resource grid defined per antenna port. So here an antenna port is defined by its associated reference signal, so which may not correspond to a physical antenna. So here antenna port is defined by its associated reference signal, which may not correspond to the physical antenna. So the set of antenna ports supported depends on the reference signal configuration in the cell. So here the set of the antenna ports which are supported will depends on the reference signal which is configured with reference signal configuration in the cell. So there are three different reference signals defined in the downlink. So and that are associated antenna ports are as follows. The first one is cell specific reference signals which support a configuration of 1 to 4 antenna ports, and the antenna port number, that is P, shall be fulfilled, that is P is equal to 0 comma P. Zero P is equal to 0. So next one is MF SBN. So MF SBN reference signals are transmitted to antenna port, that is P is equal to 4. So last one is user equipment specific reference signals which are transmitted to antenna port, that is P is equal to 5. So this is about the resource grid. So next we have a resource element. So here each resource element in the resource grid is uniquely defined by the index pair, that is k comma l. So that is index pair k comma l in a slot where k is equal to 0 comma 1 comma, that is nrbdl into nscrb minus 1, and l is equal to 0 comma 1 to n symbol of dl minus 1 are indicates are the indices in the frequency and time domain respectively. So here the size of the each resource element depends on the subcarrier spacing, that is delta f and the cp length. So here in the resource element, each resource element in the resource grid is uniquely defined in the pair of that is k comma l in a slot where k is equal to 0 comma 1 tends to, that is nrb dl into n s power rb minus 1, and l is equal to 0 comma 1 to n symbol to dl minus 1. So are the indices in the frequency and the time domains respectively. So the size of the resource element depends on the subcarrier spacing, that is delta f, and the cp of the length, that is CP of the length. So next we have a resource block. So here the resource block is the basic element for the radio resource allocation. So here the resource block. So this resource block is the basic element for the radio resource allocation. So here the minimum size of the radio resource that can be allocated in the minimum TTI time domain, that is the one subframe of 1 milliseconds corresponding to two resource blocks. So here the minimum size of the radio resource that can be allocated is the minimum TTI in the time domain, that is the one subframe of 1 milliseconds corresponding to the two resource blocks. So here the size of the each resource block is the same for all the bandwidths, which is 180 kilohertz in the frequency domain. So here the size of the each resource block is same for all the bandwidths, which is 180 kilohertz in the frequency domain. So there are two kinds of resource blocks defined for the LTE: physical and virtual resource blocks. So which are different for different resource allocation schemes. Which are different for the different allocation schemes. So next we have resource allocation. So here the resource allocations role is to dynamically assign the available time frequency resource blocks to different user equipments in an efficient way to provide the good system performance. So to provide the good system performance. So here in the LTE, the channel dependent scheduling is supported, and the transmission is based on the shared channel structure where the radio resource is shared among the different user equipments. So here the moreover, so therefore with the resource allocation techniques, so the multi-user diversity can be exploited by assigning the resource blocks to the user equipments with favorable channel qualities. So the multi-user diversity can be exploited by assigning the resource blocks to the user equipments by with favorable channel qualities. So moreover, the resource allocation in the LTE is able to exploit the channel variations in both the time and the frequency domain. So which will provide the higher multi-user diversity gain than the HSPA that can only exploit the time domain variation. So which will exploit the time domain variation. So here given a wide bandwidth in LTE, This property is beneficial especially for the slow time varying channels, such as in the scenario with low mobility. We are taking the advantage of channel selectivity in the time domain is difficult. So here with the OFDMA, the downlink resource allocation is characterized by the fact that is each scheduled user equipment occupies a number of resource blocks, while each resource block is assigned with exclusively to one user equipment at any time. So here the physical resource blocks, that is PRBs, and the virtual resource blocks, that is VRBs, are defined to support the different kinds of resource allocation types. So here PRB and VRB are the two different resource allocation types. Which are used to support resource allocation, different kinds of resource allocation. So here the VRB is introduced to support both blockwise transmission and the transmission on non-consecutive subcarriers. So as a means of maximum frequency diversity. So here the VRB is introduced to support both the blockwise transmission and transmission on the non-consecutive subcarriers, as it means to maximize the frequency diversity. So here the LTE downlink supports three resource allocation types, that is type 0, type 1 and type 2. So here the downlink scheduling is performed at the E node B based on the channel quality information feedback from the user equipments, and then the downlink resource assignment information is sent to the user equipment on the PDCCH channel. So the LTE downlink supports three resource allocation types, that is type 0, type 1 and type 2. So here the downlink scheduling is performed at the E node B based on the channel quality information feedback from the user equipments, and then the downlink resource assignment information is sent to the user equipments on the PDCC channel. So where PRB is defined as NDL symbol consecutive OFDMA symbols in the time domain, and NRBSC consecutive subcarriers in the frequency domain. So here therefore the PRB, each PRB corresponds to one slot in the time domain, that is 0.5 milliseconds, and 180 kilohertz in the frequency domain. So where the PRBs are numbered from 0 to NDL RB minus 1. So the frequency domain. So in the frequency domain, which is denoted as NPRB is equal to So here the each PRB corresponding to one slot in the time domain, that is 0.5 milliseconds and 180 kilohertz, and below 180 kilohertz in the frequency domain, where the PRBs are numbered from 0 to NRBDL minus 1 in the frequency domain. So the frequency, the PRB number, that is NPRB, of a resource element, that is K comma L in a slot is given by, that is it has been given as that is NPRB is equal to K divided by NSE RB. So here the PRB is to support the resource allocation type of 0 and type 1, which are defined for the DCI format 1, 2 and 2A. So the DCI format DCI format 1, 2 and 2A. So this is the example of resource allocation type 0 and type 1, where the RPG size, that is P is equal to 4. So here in the type 0, this is the type 0 resource allocation, and this is type 1 resource allocation. So here in the type 0 resource allocation, several consecutive PRBs constitute a resource black group, that is RGB. It is a resource black group RBG, and resource allocation is done in the units of RBGs. So therefore a bitmap indicating the RBG is sufficient to carry the resource assignment. So here the allocated RBGs to a certain user equipment do not need to be adjacent to each other, which provides the frequency diversity. So here the RBG size P, and that is the number of PRBs in each RBG. So depends on the bandwidth. So this is an example of resource allocation type 0, where P is equal to 4 and RBGs, that is 0, 3, 4, are allocated to a particular user equipment. So here in the type 1 resource allocation, so here all the RBGs are grouped into a number of RBG subsets, and certain PRBs inside a selected RBG subset are allocated to the user equipment. So here There are a total of P RBG subsets where P is the RBG size. P is the RBG size. So here an RBG subset P which tends between 0, 0 and P consists of every pth RBG starting from RBG P. Therefore, the resource assignment information consists of three fields. The field fed indicator indicates the selected RBG subset. So, and the second field indicates whether the offset is applied. The third field contains the bitmap indicating PRBs inside the selected RGB subset. So, this type of resource allocation is more flexible and is able to provide the higher frequency diversity, but it is also requires a larger overhead. So here an example of type 1 resource allocation is shown in this figure with where P is equal to 4 and the RBG subset 0 is selected for the given user equipment. So this is about the resource allocation. So next we have supported MIMOs. That is multi-antenna transmission and reception. So that we'll discuss in the next class.